building a brand identity, one that's potent and that stands out and that's different in the marketplace is the deepest form of shadow work. Being yourself online isn't enough.
All right. Welcome back to the Soulful CEO Path, the podcast for ambitious soul-led entrepreneurs who are building wildly abundant and aligned businesses that create ripple effects of positivity in the world. I'm Kristin Constable, and oh my God, do I have a guest for you today? One of the reasons that I spend multiple five figures every year to be inside high-level masterminds is for the women that I get to be in community with. And because I know it's like the people that I surround myself with matters, and it just up levels my work and who I am. And today, because of the space that I'm in, I get to interview this powerhouse of a guest that we have on the show today, Irene Rodriguez. And Irene is a brand identity and expression coach who helps women uncover their iconic edge, which is her unique methodology. And that iconic edge is really the part of them that makes them feel like their brand is unforgettable and as hot as they are. So she is known for building iconic brands from the inside out. She blends identity, style, expression, and sensuality to create premium embodied brands that feel like art. So Irene, I'm so happy to have you here today and dive into this conversation with you because honestly, like every time you share something in our mastermind, I'm like writing it down. You have such a way with this work that you do. And so I'm just so excited to share this with the audience here.
Oh, thank you for that intro. I'm like juicing over my own introduction.
Yeah, that's you, lady. It is. It's like, yeah, so much to say. But let's dive right into it because I know you've got so much to say about the content that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
And I want to go like deep right away because one of the things that I think is so important to get about your work and the way that you work with people is this is not surface level brand stuff. Like this is not just about your look and a mood board and how you dress. This is about the deep excavation from the inside out to be more of who you already are. So one of the things that you've said in the past is that this brand identity work is one of the deepest forms of shadow work that somebody can do. Can you share with us a little bit about that and why you look at this work from that lens?
Yeah, I look at this in this way. And first of all, the way you said that, excavation, that is just chef's kiss on the way you describe that, because it's pulling out the versions of you that you've made wrong and you've hidden for so long. The reason I say this, that building a brand identity, one that's potent and that stands out and that's different in the marketplace is the deepest form of shadow work because you have to explore the depths of your expression that you haven't explored yet. So I always say this, hear the whole thing because it can sound controversial at first. It's being yourself online isn't enough because
what does that even mean, right? When you're like,
right, yeah, because you have to explore the depths that you haven't yet explored. And when you do that, that like it's the real you, because we look at a brand as a business, as a company, correct? Yes, it is. However, it's also rooted in somebody who's a woman, a human, so many emotions, so many stories, and so many layers. And until you look at, not just look at, but we'll start there. You look at, let's say the 10-year-old you that your dad saw you in a midriff and you got your booty beat because you're wearing, and now I'm talking about myself. That was me. I didn't realize I was going there. You know, the younger version of me that was wearing a midriff and, I got my booty beat because that wasn't acceptable. What do we learn? We learn, oh, my body's not safe. My body's wrong. Like, this is wrong. I can't do that. Or let's say a kindergartner made fun of your sense of humor. Oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. So until we not only see those things, but also fully own them in yourself as a woman, to know that humor, if you, that silly, goofy side isn't wrong, it's actually quite beautiful, then that's the you that you want to share online and create a brand from. And not that you have to share the goofy side or you have to be sexy online. No. But it's a very conscious decision. I'm not going to be a goofy or have a goofy side or a sexy side to my brand because I'm deciding to. Not because every other successful woman I see online, so I associate success with not sexy, not funny because of that. You're not because you don't want to.
I know it goes so deep, right? And it's like one of these funny things that I think as entrepreneurs is like, we don't even know what we're signing up for when we start doing this. It's like, I don't know about you, but for me, I'm not thinking that this would be a lot of the work, is like meeting these edges, going into like deep rooted patterns and beliefs, and for it to be in service of actually being able to share our gifts and our voice and our
Yeah.
message and our movement in a way that really lands with people. It's kind of wild when you really think about it, but it's like unavoidable part of the process, especially if you are building
Yeah.
a business online, which most people are these days.
And you have to look at that. You
Mhm.
look at it like, let's talk about speaking your truth for a moment, and really this is where that shadow work bit comes in again. It's like understanding your insights. Actually,
Mhm.
let me give you a tiny bit of background. So before I started speaking to identity and branding, content and potent brand, I was a feminine embodiment coach.
Okay.
Now, this has a lot to do with why I speak to shadow work underneath the brand identity. Because in
Mhm.
order to have a brand that's unlike anything else on the internet, that feels like you, that you never hesitate at any moment to pick up your phone and just go talk about your highest ticket offers, you
Yeah.
need to become the woman that either, because a big hesitation I hear so often is like, oh, I'm fresh out of the gym. That's when I'm my most magnetic and I want to talk about my offers, but it doesn't fit my brand. Says
Mhm.
who? And do you want
Right.
to make that part of your brand? So maybe it looks like becoming the woman who go buy new workout clothes, feel good and hot and sexy in your workout clothes,
Shit, I
right?
can't wear my like baggies
Yeah.
t-shirt.
Unless it's part of your brand,
Yeah.
and make that part of your brand. So maybe you want to wear makeup. I
Mhm.
do. I feel fun. You know how you have a better workout when you feel hot? You're in your
Yeah.
hot, sexy set. How do you
Yeah.
think that is when you sell online like that too?
Mhm.
So like
Yeah.
allowing all these parts to be okay.
Mhm.
Mm,
Yeah, and I think what's really interesting about what you're sharing too is like, because this is the multidimensional nature of us as human beings, is that there is not just this one side. And that's why I think people have a lot of trouble with social media and content, because they're trying to like fit their whole self
yes.
into a grid. And it's just like, it's not going to happen. But
Yeah.
what can happen is this really intentional brand curation
Yeah.
around like, what parts of me do I want to bring forward? What parts of me do I want to keep private? Because it's
Yes.
okay to have some private
That's the
sides
part.
too.
I think when
Yeah.
people struggle with that right there, it's like, well, I want to share all of me. Okay, but you don't have to. Like I keep my romantic life very, it doesn't, I don't want it in my brand.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful. It's not wrong. I'm not shy, embarrassed, anything. I don't post pictures of my family. It's just, I just choose not to.
Yeah.
However, when you come on my feed, you feel like you know me.
Yeah.
You feel like you
Totally. It's
know me.
not
And
one dimensional at all. It's just you've
no.
curated the pieces that you want to bring forward. So I want to go there with you a little bit because, one of the things that you talk about a lot, I have this like reel in mind that is coming to mind for me, because when I saw it, it was activating and triggering at the same time. And it was great, but
Ooh,
it's
which
like,
one?
yeah, it was the one where I mean, all your stuff is just like, if you're not following Irene, we're going to link her Instagram in the show notes. Go follow her just for like amazing work, tons of value. And the inspiration around this stuff is just like next level. But you have like, this is like a shoot that you would see in like a, I don't know, high-end magazine. And you talk about your mission around like sexifying the
Yeah.
coaching industry. And
Yeah.
you have this idea around like this positioning around like when you feel hot, you sell more and like you're more magnetic. And there's something there for me when I watched that. And I was like, oh, like, I don't know if that's actually like what I want. And like, that's not maybe how I want to express my brand online. But then when I really sat with it and understand more about where you're coming from, it's like, well, what's my version of that?
Yes.
And you talk about like bold expression and being bold and finding your iconic edge. And what I love about the way that you talk about that is like finding it for yourself. It's not that there's this one way to be, and like
Yeah.
everyone needs this like to look the same way, talk the same way, do the same kind of photo shoots. It's really finding that for you. So I'd love for you to talk a little bit about that around how do you
Yeah.
help people find their iconic edge? There's so much there you can unpack. So
Yeah.
take it wherever you
Yeah,
want.
yeah. I already know exactly where I want to go with this. So we're on a podcast, and if you were to see me and see my brand, I have I call it edgy. Now, my definition of edgy is
Mhm.
it's black, it's leather paired with lace and pearls and chains, but very classy, very Chanel. So it's like
Yeah.
this mixed thing. This is my version of bold and edgy. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, for someone else, for some, maybe a listener, maybe you, Kristen, I don't think this is you, but it could be for
Mhm.
somebody listening, maybe your version is what feels edgy to you is when you are out with your friends and you wear this hot pink dress with pearls and you're the loudest one in your group circle, we're like, oh, fuck it. This is my girls' night out dress. This is it. That's
Yeah.
your edge. Your hot, your version of hot, your version of sexy is going to look so different from mine.
Mhm.
Now, mine looks like that black, edgy leather look. However, I also have this version of me that's very soft and femme and flowy. And if you were to look at my feed and brand and just like look throughout, I share these different parts of me in different aspects, in different areas. So when I'm helping somebody, a woman, bringing out her edge to find that, we look into places like, I'm gonna take you back a little bit. Look into places like in your past, let's say the past 10, 15 years, when you were dressing up for Halloween, chances are, like I always say, if you are always a sexier version of you for Halloween, this is your alter ego coming out, that there's a
Yeah.
sexy side of you that wants to come out,
Yeah.
but she needs a reason to come out. She needs a
Mhm.
reason. The
Mhm.
reason is what? The reason is, oh, it's Halloween. I'm gonna dress like a hoe.
Yeah. It's allowed. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna
totally.
go. I want to show my midriff. I'm gonna wear a midriff, right?
Yeah.
Or it's like, again, I'm gonna use an example of the girls' night out. Your girls' night out, when you guys are all going out to somebody's like birthday party, you pull out that one dress. What color is
Mhm.
that one dress? What
Mhm.
does it look like? Is it poofy and big and like gaudy in that sense? Is it tight and slim and fitting and black? What does it look like? These tiny little things are, I call them breadcrumbs of excitement, breadcrumbs of expression that are giving you little clues to what's in this is going to be your part of your brand identity as a
Mhm.
woman first.
Yeah.
And the only way this becomes clear, we couldn't sit here on a call, Kristin, in one call and find your brand identity, because
Mhm.
you would have to go wear that hot pink poofy dress. And from
Mhm.
that energy that you're wearing that, and I would say wear it on your Instagram lives, a live or two, wear
Yeah.
a masterclass from that energy, something else is going to come forth. Now, if this is where I say it's going to sound surface level, but hear the whole thing again,
Yeah.
because let's say you're wearing that poofy dress and you're like, ooh, I want to add this pearl necklace with that. Okay, so
Mhm.
now we're building on
You
that.
have props even. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
this.
I didn't plan this. Like I want this pearl necklace now with this poofy dress that I've never wore. So what's
Mhm.
going to happen? You're going to get on that master class or on the stage, whatever that looks like, and you're going to start moving your body differently. Your
Mhm.
tone's going to change. This is going to happen. You might lean in a little bit more and talk. You're going to
Yeah.
like, this is your expression, because this is that arc. Some people will speak to it by way of alter ego
Mhm.
slash brand identity. Try to look at it that way. This
Okay.
version of you that you are putting on, it's not fake, it's not performing. It's just as business. When we do put our business hat on,
Yeah.
so you create this identity little by little. Because let me tell you this, so here's where shadow work comes in. It takes
Mhm.
courage, it takes balls, it takes grit to wear that hot pink poofy dress online now, when your
Yeah.
people are used to seeing you in a sweater and sweatshirt. When your
Yeah.
husband walks by the living room and he's like, baby, what are you doing? And you're like,
Yeah.
well, I'm just getting dressed for work, for my business.
Yeah.
It takes to
Yeah.
hold that's shadow work,
Mhm.
because there's still a part of you that thinks that's too much.
And it's this like identity evolution that your like identity actually will take some time to catch up.
Yeah.
It's like you have to have these like anchors and these standards and these ways like things in your environment, whether it be clothes or, whatever that is. But it takes a while for you to actually see yourself that way. Cause at first it's going to
Yeah.
feel weird. It's like, I'm just picturing myself doing this. I'm like, at first it'll feel awkward. And
Yeah. And then it
then,
becomes normal.
yeah.
Actually, we have a perfect example. So I'm going to use this.
Mm-hmm.
So I use style as an anchor point. First of all, visually, it's the easiest way to show your people, oh, something's different. If you start
Mm-hmm.
dressing differently online, putting yourself together, changing your background, like, yes, there's depth to a brand, but also people are going to see you and see your brand aesthetically before
Mm-hmm.
they have a chance to listen to your content or even
Yeah.
feel your frequency, right?
Totally. And you get that, right? From someone's just like simple, like I don't even know, it's like a nanosecond. You just
Yeah.
like, you can feel it, right? You get
Yeah.
someone's expression. Yeah.
So, and that nanosecond, someone's like, oh, what's different? So they lean a little bit closer and they look a little closer. They're perceiving you differently, right? So I say with style, you want to try things on for size. It's going to feel weird.
Mm-hmm.
Today for the podcast, I have this pearl necklace that I bought for a photo shoot. And I don't ask me where this came from, but I woke up thinking about it. And I'm like, oh, I think I want to start wearing that. It's a choker. It's a pearl choker. Like, I think I
Yeah.
want to start wearing the pearl choker. And I tried to put it on before my mastermind call today, and it just didn't feel right. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe it's just my brand identity, my mastermind where I'm the
Yeah.
client. my brand identity. So I'm gonna wear it to the podcast. I had it on right as we started the podcast, we're about to start, and it didn't feel right yet. I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, that's not embodied. I feel silly. I don't feel like myself. But what I'm gonna do, because there's something in me that wants to wear this damn choker.
Yeah.
So after the podcast, I'm gonna wear it around all day because it takes a moment to either feel, okay, I like this for some reason. Either it's gonna become me or it's not. I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, no. Because it's just as important to know what's not you versus what is you. But
Mhm.
I know that when I put on this choker, I just feel like I'm in
Yeah.
my face looks different.
Yeah. There's a resonance inside for something for you. And it's just, yeah, catching up with the visual part
Yeah.
of it.
And
Yeah.
these are those things like just trusting that and letting that process be. Because
Mhm.
in that process also, when you feel safe and comfortable in, I'm going to go with the style, that embodied anchor. It could be a hairstyle, it could be a piece of jewelry. You know what's also going to happen? Your expression, your words are going to change, meaning
Mhm.
you'll start talking differently. What's going to come from that? Your brand isms, your models, because now you're being even more yourself and you're acting different. That magnetism's different.
Yeah.
Chances are you're going to really find your brand models and isms.
Well, I think it's super interesting what we're talking about because it's almost like there's these two things, these dualities going on at the same time that are both true. Is like we're talking about being more yourself, which is absolutely what's happening, but we're also talking about like amping it up and curating it for the online space. And I think that sometimes that there can be like it's like that feels like fake to people, or it can be like I almost think about it as like, like Beyonce is like Sasha Fierce, and then you have these like, next versions, like you're talking about the
Yeah.
Halloween costume. Is that kind of what we want to be doing as well to a certain degree, is like amping it up for the online space, but it's still having this through line of like, it's part of us. We're just giving it a bigger megaphone almost.
I couldn't have said it better. We can get off this podcast right now.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's exactly that. It's exactly that. You want to exaggerate, to amplify. I always say amplify, to
Hmm.
amplify that part of you so it shows times 10.
Yeah.
And also not making it wrong when you're not in that and not relying on that to feel a certain way.
Yes.
And where I see the disconnect come in with a lot of brands that start to tap into this work,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, yeah, but I want to be authentic. That's still authentic, this exaggerated pearl necklace version, that's still you. It's
Yeah.
just when you are getting ready for work, like any job, getting ready for work.
Totally.
I'm gonna speak to this in two ways. This like playful side, because people tend to make playful. If I'm too playful, people won't take me serious. And I'll
Hmm.
use the gym version of your gym clothes and dress casual if that's part of your brand. It doesn't have to be. But
Yeah.
if it is, it's like, okay, yeah, nobody's gonna take you serious if 100% of your brand is playful with no value, playful with
Hmm.
no results shown, playful with no purpose. But when you balance that out, when you look at your feed or your brand as a whole, it's beyond the feed, your brand as a whole, and there's a mission, there's
Hmm.
purpose, there's results,
Yeah.
there's value. What do you, oh my gosh, I'm learning from you too. I'm really expanded. On top of the playful,
Yeah.
great. On top of the sexy, beautiful. On top of the messy bun gym, okay, it's like 30% of the time, cool.
Totally. And that's the depth part that you're talking about. So,
Yeah.
yeah, one of the things like I'd love for us to explore is like, because I'm sure there's some people listening who they're like, I know I do incredible work. I have things to say. It's like, it's not that they're lacking things to say or a mission or anything like that. But when it comes to expressing that through their content, what do you see as the thing that gets in the way for people and being consistent and actually doing
Yeah.
that?
I love this question. This is going to blow your listeners' minds because there's a big piece that people miss, women miss, when it comes to quotation marks, being bold in your content, being
Mhm.
edgy and bringing this depth and expressed and creative in content. There are two parts to content. There's the expression, there's what we think we're talking about,
Yeah.
and there's a skill set, which means this is probably, it sounds so basic, but I've seen it happen in the most successful of women, is that if you don't know the actual way to put together a fucking video, I'm talking about the actual
Mhm.
tangible of whether it's
Yeah.
Canva, a video skill, yeah, the actual tangible, it's gonna
Yeah.
block your expression. And looking at content like, okay, there's so many different forms of content. If you want to express a depth story, if you can really realize, okay, the only way for me to share a deep story, if your brain goes to a carousel, oh, I gotta write it out. my love, there's a million more ways to do that. You can do a
Yeah.
voiceover with a video montage. You know how creative and deep, because you get to talk about your voice and
Yeah.
you clip together videos. You can do a talking to, this is where creativity comes in, and your
Mhm.
expression is going to come
You're
out.
so good at this. This is like you have a million ideas always when it comes to
Yeah,
content. But yeah.
your expression can come out in a different way. It's like you start telling the story and then you clip in video montages while you're talking and you clip it back to you. And then you can look at, like, even in a carousel, you can put a video in a carousel. So like really looking at sharing this depth to you, there's so many different ways. We get stuck in thinking and not looking at the skill set part of it. We just
Right.
focus on messaging, on carousel, on writing it out, and really not realizing when you can express yourself through video. I actually find a lot of creativity and fun in playing in CapCut. And that
Mhm.
might be your expression where you're
Yeah.
like, oh, let me learn a transition. Let me zoom in. Let me do that. And maybe it's not. And maybe for you, that expression looks like you want to dress in these gaudy versions of yourself, the exaggerated versions. Just walk up to the camera, plain dress up in the camera, and doing certain movements with your body with a voiceover. That's a form of expression. That's a form of depth. Like when a woman can express herself, whether it is a look, an energy, a vibe, a style,
Yeah.
oh, women feel that. So in looking at that, like when I see the majority of women get stuck when they say, I want to be deep, I want to be more expressed, I'm bolder in my content. Okay, I always say, what does that look like to you in your womanness and the human version of you and
Yeah.
your words? And also the tangible piece of content. Is it
Mhm.
a video? Is it a talking to head camera? Like, what is that? So when you can
Yeah.
really understand there's two very different sides to being
Yes.
bold in content, bold content in parentheses, bold
Yeah.
content. There's the expression and the tangible skill set that you're putting out too.
Oh, I love that you brought that up because it's like sometimes it's the most grounded things like that that make the biggest difference. Well, I'll just speak from my own experience. So, I'm testing a couple different things, but this month is more about creating content every day, like something every day. But then next month, I am going to do less content, but more of kind of what you're talking about, being more creative, more different forms. And I want to see what actually works better. It's like, is it just doing volume, or is it, and not works, but also feels better in the process, is like, what do I enjoy more and what gets like a better result? There is a learning curve that comes along with that because it's like doing some of these, like whatever carousels or direct to camera is like easy for me now. It's like, that's fine. But it's like doing more of the creative B-roll stuff, these montages. I'm going to have to create some space for that. Like I can't
Yeah,
just do that, in my, regular routine.
yeah.
I actually have to carve out some content creation time that is beyond what I currently have. And so if we
Hmm.
don't set ourselves up for success there and we're just like have these expectations of like, well, I'm just going to get it. Like that's insane. It's like
Yeah,
there is going to be a learning curve and eventually it's going to be super easy. Well, easier to do. But at the beginning, it's going to take time and it's going to feel
yeah.
like hard work.
I love that you said that about the learning curve, because I think a lot of entrepreneurs miss that, especially if
Mhm.
we're a solo entrepreneur. Right.
Yeah.
And I love what you said, how you right now you're focusing on volume, like getting more out. Well, along that process, it's becoming a lot easier for you. Now, one of the biggest problems I see too in solo entrepreneurs at different levels is, okay, you want to make this fun video, but low key, you're still working on your messaging as well, and messaging is so wonky. So you're not actually just doing the video. And we're always
Yeah.
evolving, so we're always going to be working on our messaging, but you don't realize you're learning, trying to do 30 things at once.
Totally.
Right now, with you focusing on volume, yeah,
Yeah.
your creativity is going to be so much times 10 next month or whatever that is, because
Yeah.
you get the video part down, you're not thinking about that anymore.
Totally.
Thinking about
Yeah.
expression.
Yeah.
It's like I have a good example. When somebody is learning to play a guitar,
I
and
try.
they're
That's
learning,
very hard.
yeah, okay, then so it's like you're
Yeah.
focusing, you're like ding, 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 one breath at a time. Your face is probably the mean face, mean
Yeah.
mug in it, looking and reading. And then when you finally learn it, I don't know if you learn it, but you learn it, it's like, you have happy face on. Now you can sing while you're playing it. You
Yeah.
can dance and maybe jump around, even talk to your partner while you're playing the guitar. But in
Totally.
the beginning, you're like mean mugging, it's the same thing with content.
Absolutely. Such a good reminder. It's like we can't expect to come out of the gates experts. It's like it
Yeah.
takes time and it's earned. And
And the
so,
most expressed women have that down. It's
mhm,
like, if you mentioned my content and my feed and just my brand overall, yeah, it's very creative, very
mhm,
creative. It's very out of the box. And also when you see me in a video, like walking to the camera, looking all bold and edgy, I've also done that work to one, own that. So meaning to own the parts of me that we talked about earlier, the shadow work. So I'm not on camera trying to feel confident. I already am.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
also I can get 30 videos when some people can get 10.
totally. And I just want to say about this is reminding me, it's like, I think it's important for people to understand what it takes to actually win. What does it actually take to create? If you go to Irene's Instagram and you look at it and then like you're like, oh my gosh, I want content like that. Is like all the years that have gone into your embodiment around this, your refinement around this, but then also your willingness to invest in that as an asset for your business.
Yeah.
Like I remember you posted something and it was I think it was your photo shoot of you were on like a sea-doo in this black dress and you had a funny little caption. You're like, I just woke up one day and decided I was going to hire a little man to follow me around with a camera. And I burst out laughing because I'm like just picturing you just like this little guy just following you around. But what's amazing about that is how many people actually, like we say we want to grow our accounts, and I'm speaking to myself right now, schooling myself, saying that we want to grow our accounts, but how many people would actually be willing to do that? Like wake up, I'm going to clear my schedule. I'm going to rent a Sea-Doo, hire somebody to go create this epic content. But like that's why you are incredible at what you do. Is you're willing to make that kind of investment, and it's going to be different than if you're like, I just want to work with ChatGPT and do this in 30 minutes to get as many posts out in the week. You're not
Yeah.
going to be playing the same fucking game. Like it's a completely different game you're playing.
The output is different too. But there's a very tangible example of the Sea-Doo example. You know, that happened once before to where I had hired somebody to help me with branding, to do actual like logos and all the things. And I wanted new pictures. And at the time, I didn't have pictures that I loved. And I looked for a photographer. I was trying to get in. I was trying to find somebody. They wouldn't respond. I'm like, oh my gosh, I had this woman, excuse me, this woman for a month. I paid her like $6,000 for 1 month to do on myself. I'm like, I need pictures. And it was a very like sporadic purchase as well. So I was already in it. I'm like, and granted, this may not be your creativity, as could not be, but I was like, I'm going to go do it. So I got my camera. I was like, I just need something I'll play with it later. I got my phone. And I went out to 5 a.m. to like a empty road. And I took some pictures, screenshotted it, put it in Canva, edited it a little bit to get some pictures. It's like, there's two types of people. Someone that would have been in that container with that mentor, that brand expert, and been like, okay, well, I don't have pictures. So like, let's just do something else. But I knew I wanted that. It wasn't perfect, but I got it done. And that bit with the Sea-Doo, it's like I woke up, I had this visual. I didn't even try to find a photographer because I didn't want to waste that time. I'm like, fuck it. You know that little man I'm talking about on the beach? You know which one? You know? I went to the ocean. I was in Costa Rica, and I had this visual of me wearing a designer dress on a Sea-Doo. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go rent one. So I just went to go find a Sea-Doo. I Ubered, I Googled Sea-Doo, jet ski, and I asked the guy in Spanish. I'm like, excuse me, can I rent a Sea-Doo for 2 hours? He's like, yeah. And I was like, can I pay
And you're
you?
wearing your dress at this time.
Not yet. Okay. I had it in my bag.
I was like, this story gets better and better.
Okay, so I had it in my bag. And then he's like, yeah, come on. So he took me to go find the Sea-Doo guy. And I was like, mind you, I have choppy Spanish. And I'm like, can I pay you to take a picture of me? And he's like, oh yeah. I was like, can you come with me? And then he's like, okay. And then this other guy came in. He's like, I have an idea. We'll get you on the Sea-Doo and we'll take you. You see that little island over there? I was like, wait a minute. Hold on a minute.
Yeah,
hold on. But I could see it. It was,
yeah.
as I went. I felt safe.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, let's go. And he was all excited. I gave him $100. He was all excited. I'm like, okay, let me just change. And we're on the beach. There's no bathroom. So I'm like talking to the guy, just putting my dress on over my bathing suit that I had on, talking to him. And I was like, should I wear the shoes? To the little man, the little Mexican man. He's like, no, it's going to get wet. I'm like, oh yeah, good idea. Like making him part of my process, you know?
Yeah.
So he gets me on the back of the Sea-Doo, and I just had my phone. I'm like, hi, he's taking me to the ocean. We switched spots, and I'm like riding the Sea-Doo, and he's just videoing me from back. I'm like waving back to him. It was amazing.
This is so amazing. It's such a fun story because I actually didn't know the backstory of this, and I'm glad I asked because there's the spending however much money on a photo shoot, which can be great too. But what you're speaking to is like, it actually just takes creativity and a willingness to like experiment and have fun because like that didn't
Speak your
cost you.
truth.
that much, right? It was like, it just
No,
was an idea and you willing to do that. It's on your phone. Like, we all have these amazing tools. So it's really, there isn't an excuse. It's like, if you're willing to be creative, experiment and have some fun, you can capture some really
that
interesting content.
if
Yeah.
you're willing to be innovative, there's so many apps. I think I paid like so many apps to edit things, and the whole experience. It's also was practicing doing what you say you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's practicing leading yourself. You want something? Okay, go do it. It's also, I'm going to find somebody. I'm going to find a little man. I mean, it wasn't easy. I went to the wrong jet ski place twice. I went to the
Yeah.
wrong part of the island twice. I couldn't find a jet ski. I'm like, how are they not everywhere? Finally
Yeah.
found the jet ski. I didn't give up. Then I had to communicate with the guy. And then,
I want to hear his story going home at the end of that
I
day. It's like
know,
an extra
right?
$100 in hand. And just like, guess what I did today?
Yeah, yeah. And then even like there was part when the jet ski was floating around. I'm like, wait
Mhm.
a minute, can you hold it? So he's holding the jet ski underneath, getting water in his face. I'm like, hold on, I almost got it. And I'm like trying to get my picture, and he's getting whipped, like, waterboarded.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure he's totally fine with it. So good. Okay, so I want to make sure we get to this question because, we've talked about a bunch of different things in terms of like, yeah, expression and brand and how that shows up in clothes and photo shoots and all of
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. But I want to make sure that it's really obvious to people like how you work with people and what makes this iconic edge methodology. Because if anyone's listening who's part of my world, they know that like I am like the method person. Like it is so important to have a signature method that allows people to see how what you do is different and unique. And you're not just like, if you hire Irene for a photo shoot or like, one of these offers that she has, it's not a photo shoot. Like you're not just getting
yeah.
that. So like, how do you, what is the iconic edge methodology all about and how is it different to create this like long lasting transformation versus a cool shoot that, you feel good about?
Yeah. So iconic edge, I divide it into the expression piece. I divide it into three parts. We actually pull out three different archetypes per woman.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna tap into expression for a moment. I tap
Yeah.
into the feminine, which will be the soft, fun, flirty. I am gonna talk about style, but that's part of it. It's the
Mm-hmm.
style piece too. What does that feminine, soft, flowy version of you look like, act like, feel like? So if you were gonna do a photo shoot for this, because we start there. If you were gonna do a photo shoot, what would she wear? What would you call her?
Yeah.
Then you have the masculine, and this could be the bold, the edgy. What does that look like? Is it in a suit? What is a pose? So we look at those two parts. Then
Mm-hmm.
the third part is going to be very unique to each woman. It could be usually it's playful. Usually
Mm-hmm.
it's playful. Usually it's funny, something on that side. And we
Yeah.
find the pieces and pull it together and create. I'm going to go the photo shoot route for now because
Mm-hmm.
that's part of your expression. So we tap into that and look at the content. What is she saying? How does she express herself in messaging and how
Mm-hmm.
she talks? So we have the expression piece, and then it comes down to that identity piece, becoming that woman and bringing her out in different parts of your brand, whether it's talking to camera or in the conversational types of content. So it's
Yeah.
expression and then becoming her, the identity, and becoming that woman.
I'm curious because you said you start with the photo shoot. Do you find it helpful for people to do something like that first to kind of anchor it? And I would imagine that it's like you see it once to the, we were talking about the choker thing. It's like that
Yeah,
doesn't quite feel like you yet. So maybe the photo shoot, it doesn't quite feel like you yet. But
yeah.
you start using those images, you start connecting with that person, and that then like becomes your new anchor. Is that kind of how you see it work?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and because you find your gaps, that part
Mm-hmm.
right there, you find the gap. I'm going to tell you what happens. It's like, oh, I feel silly wearing that. I feel too much wearing that. Let's talk about that.
Right.
Why is that? And you know what happens there? I feel like that's too much. Okay, what is that? That's a self-acceptance, or it could also be a boundary type thing. It's like, well, so and so is still on my page, or so and so is like looking at my content. There's a conversation that needs to be had, and this is deeper. This isn't
Ugh,
that feels like too much expression. You
yes.
either need to have a conversation with yourself about your boundaries on social media. That's your business page, so treat it like a business. What's going
Mhm.
on here? Now we're talking about boundaries and standards. You
Right.
think we're talking about being bold in your content? No, we're talking about boundaries and standards. Because if
Mhm.
something or somebody is stopping you from sharing that version of you, that's what we address. There's where that shadow work piece comes in.
I wish we had like another hour
I
because
know.
it's like now that just opens up so much because I hear like, I mean, that comes up all the time, right? Is like that question I asked you at the beginning of the show. What holds people back from like being fully expressed like in the online space? And I can't tell you how many people, when we dig into it, it's like, well, my old colleagues, like, I wonder what they're going to think, my old boss or my family, right?
Yeah.
And so there's so much here.
To
And
wait, can I share one thing to close it out? It'd be 1 minute.
yeah.
To close this out, because it's on that thought, two things for this person asking that question. One, you're following who you're following and who's following you,
Mm-hmm.
meaning grow the courage to either unfollow, mute, block. You could have an uncomfortable conversation because if somebody, colleagues or whatnot, you need to clean that up. It's
Mm-hmm.
either, hey, I'm starting a personal page. I'm going to follow you over here. This one's going all business. Thank you later. Bye. Peace out. Block and follow.
Yeah.
Like do whatever it takes or have a conversation with people.
Yeah.
Or you take your business seriously. There's part
Totally.
one. Part
Yeah.
two to this is, when you go to a party, like, and you don't know anybody and you walk in, you're like, hi, I'm Irene. Oh, I'm not like that, but you might be like, hi, I'm so. But if you walk into your best friend's barbecue, you're like, oh, what's up, babe? Hi. You're really yourself.
Yeah.
This could be a missing gap in your social media as well. Create a
Mhm.
free event, go live, connect with your people. You don't know them. That's why.
Right. Oh, that's such a, okay. Well, I was going to ask you, like, what's one thing, tangible thing that people could do leaving our conversation today, but you kind of just gave it to them.
Yeah,
It's
go
like,
ahead.
yeah, is especially that second one is like, well, both of them, but it's like the cleanup conversations. And then like, do you actually feel like you have a relationship and you know the people that you are in your space with you? And if not,
Yeah,
start creating that connection and that conversation. And I think what's beautiful about that is that it's going to be for some people, like in your, if you haven't done that yet, or you're just playing with
yeah.
that edge, is like you might lose people and that's good. It's like that's not a bad thing, but it's going to start to like just allow you to have more of a curated room where the people that are there are like your people versus it being just this vanilla thing that people are kind of there but not really interested. Like it's going to shift how your spaces feel, which I think will, I mean, I know for myself is like that would make me more excited to show up too. It's not fun
That's
to
it.
show up when like it's like crickets and like you're not really, you're like, does anyone care? It's like,
Yeah.
no.
And if you
So
know everybody, even if it's like three people that you're like, oh my God, Kristin, you're on my live.
yeah,
Babe, it just changes everything.
totally. Yeah. Oh,
So
thank
good.
you
So
so
good.
much for all of this. And I'm so excited because you're going to be coming into the Soulful CEO Club later this month. And so we have like 90 minutes inside of that space to dive deep into your iconic edge method and go even deeper inside of this conversation. But for those people who are not part of the club, how can they connect with you? And what are the different ways that people can currently work with you?
Come over on Instagram. Instagram is my home. And if you're coming from the podcast, please let me know you listened. I would love to just connect and tell me your favorite part because this is my soul's work.
Yeah.
I would love to hear. Find me on Instagram. Come say hi. And I do have something coming out, Iconic Edge, where we're diving deep into the three parts where you can pull this out into your brand.
Yes, I love it. We'll link all of Irene's information in the show notes. And for those of you that are listening, thank you so much for joining us in the show. Make sure to like, subscribe, and let us know if you listened to the episode, what part of the episode you loved. We'll see you back here next time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.